The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, stopped on by late night with Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. It was there he said things that have many claiming he's promoting harm across the United States. And perhaps it's a little more than too late for those who choose to go with hate on the legacy media outlets. Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we continue to give you the news you need to know. Keeping you ahead of the culture curve is what we do. Today, we're talking about Gavin Newsom and Hillary Clinton, but not from a political standpoint. Rather, these two and others believe they can go onto legacy media outlets, TV, and other places and spew the kind of hatred that puts people in harm's way. Did Gavin Newsom say things that resulted in the death of others? Well, we've got answers. Click the like button and let's dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, we start today with Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, and that means he is the head honcho of Hollywood as well. He comes out onto late night and does a double dose of Colbert and Kimmel. Yes, Kimmel came back and he was there as well, but Newsom was on Colbert when he made the following statement. We're to be careful because CBS always gets us when we try to play anything they have. We're going to keep it in a small scale to help with that. I want to play just a brief snippet, just a snippet. It says, I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. This is what he declared to Colbert and his audience. Here we go.
I fear that we will not have an election in 2028. I really mean that.
Pause there. That's all we can do. Darn you, CBS. Darn you. You never respect our fair rights issues. Okay, so Gavin Newsom goes on to to Colbert and says that he fears we will not have an election in 2028. Now, why would we not have an election in 2028? Well, because Gavin Newsom is at least insinuating that the orange man will be hating on elections and you won't get to have one. Okay? That's not all he did. Gavin Newsom also went on late night TV and said that people need to push back on ICE agents because they're part of an authoritarian government. And what happened, ladies and gentlemen? What happened after Gavin Newsom appeared both on Colbert and Kimmel and said these kinds of things? Here's the statement from the Department of Homeland Security saying that an ICE facility was targeted. Somebody passed away. Says this morning, a sniper opened fire from a nearby rooftop against an ICE field office in Dallas. The shooter fired indiscriminately, hitting a van in the Sallyport where the victims were shot. The gunman was found dead with a self-inflicted gun wound, and the shell casings yet again. Here we go again, folks, another time when the shell casings have messages on them, and yes, indeed, they're anti-ICE messages. Now, I don't want to debate immigration policy. That's not what I'm here to do tonight. What I am here to say is Gavin Newsom, the head honcho of Hollywood, the governor of California, goes on a late night and talks about you've got to fight back against the authoritarian. He talks about you might not even get an election. And I'm here to tell you, gentlemen of the panel, this has to stop. I'm not kidding about this. I mean, we have to, folks, we're going to have to rise up as a group of sensible, centrist people and say, from here on out, we're cutting out the language that promotes harm. Because I think that when they say on the legacy media, when they call Trump supporters or centrists or people in the middle or people on the right or classical liberals, we can keep going of all the people they don't like. But when they come out and they declare culture, when they say that those people are fascists, I think the term fascist means permission to harm to them. Yeah. And I think when they say that the government is authoritarian and they're going to take your elections away, how could we not expect to see this sort of thing? So culture, it's time to hold them accountable. It's time for us to say to shows like Kimmel and Colbert, yes, you're probably going to get canceled anyway, but in the meantime, we're not going to say things, even if it comes from politicians, that result in death the day after. Your thoughts, culture?
Well, I think, first of all, you targeted something I released a montage on for my podcast, my new podcast show today on X. And I'll just tell you, I mean, the language coming out of unfortunately, out of what people would traditionally call the Democrat Party, has been to demonize the other. They say we have to stop doing these things. They say we need unity. They say we need to turn down the temperature, but everybody turned it up. Over the less than 12 hours from the time Gavin Newsom said the numbskull thing that he said, we had another violent incident, and essentially tied to the very institution that he was directing a lot of venom at. I'm getting sick and tired of it. Hillary Clinton did the same thing. She said today on a live television show with the morning folks over at PMS Now or PMS NBC, whatever they're called now. And she said that, we need to stop demonizing each other. And then she immediately went on to demonize the Republican Party by saying, the Republicans are the ones that are to blame right now. Not exactly. I'm paraphrasing, and I have the clip if you want to watch it. But it's like, and here's the thing. People are so, what's the right word? Indoctrinated, maybe, so indoctrinated now that if they basically can point and click a certain percentage of people who are not thinking, with their brain. They just basically react to what these people say. I'm sorry, it's true.
No, I'm just trying to think what it is. When a man sees an attractive woman, sometimes he's not thinking with his brain. But in this situation, I don't know what. Maybe their spleen, because the things they say demean human life.
I was going to say rectum, but that's an entirely different conversation. What I just want to say is that they're not thinking right, and the problem is that they have an emotional response rather than a logical one. And basically, they're now conditioned, and this is actually based on a medical study done back in the early 2000s, that when people are engaged in this kind of political hyperbole, because we have to agree what Gavin Newsom said was hyperbole.
It's dangerous hyperbole.
Very dangerous.
But wait a minute, culture. Wait a minute. The problem is when somebody like Gavin Newsom goes on to Late Night with Colbert and Kimmel last night, and says we're not going to have an election in 2028, or he says we might not have an election in 2028. What is he doing there? He is saying that the authoritarian dictatorship is on the way, so what should somebody of his persuasion do? Yeah. Well, these young kids who have nothing to live for go out and do the things that we've seen. Within a week, we get the same thing. This was an effort. What we saw at Dallas, this was an effort to replicate what happened in Utah, complete with the same kinds of messages, and it matched up with what Newsom came on the night before and said. Anyway.
But you can go back in time and see that there have been multiple attacks on ICE facilities in Texas. This is the second, third, I don't know, lots. Right. And then when you look at what he says, there is a reaction to it less than 12 hours later. But this is not turning down the temperature on the rhetoric. This is ramping it up. He thinks, and I'm sorry about this, and I'll get back to what I was saying before in just a second. But he thinks this is an opportunity for him to make political points towards his presidential campaign, which a lot of ridiculous polls are suggesting he would win at this point in time.
Well, the silliness of American politics right now is this guy presided over the burning down of an area of Los Angeles the size of the city of Paris. And yet he's still in contention to be a president.
Well, and what he's about to do that area, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. What I really want to talk about is this study back in the early 2000s that said when you are listening or if you define yourself as politically engaged, somebody who listens to talk radio or anything else, there was a giant percentage of the people that were doing that only reacted when they were listening to politics with the reactionary or emotional side of their brain. Everything else was not connected to reality. And that's the problem. There's so many people that are so disconnected from reality because their entire focus and everything in life right now, everything is tied to politics. And if that's the only way that they look at things, if that's the only way that they react, we're in big trouble. Because they're not thinking, there's consequences to what I'm about to do. What I'm about to do is silence somebody forever, which is a gross tragedy, and that will affect my life for the rest of my life. Because for what's left of it, I'm going to be sitting in a concrete cell.
Well, there was a recent poll that came out, Culture, and young people who describe themselves as leftist. So I'm not saying that to disparage. I'm saying this as if they self-identify. You may have seen this poll. There's a new poll out that shows that by far they view violence as an appropriate response to gain political power. They're by far. There's no demographic even close. And the older people who identify as leftists don't come. I mean, they go back to normal compared to the rest of society. It's the young people. Anyway, Lauren, one of the issues that I have here is that I think there was an anticipation by many out there, and clearly wrongly, but sadly it's wrong, but an anticipation that the temperature would come down after watching that Charlie Kirk assassination and then the memorial. People thought that, I believe people thought that there would be 2 weeks or a month or whatever of a cooling off period. And instead, the playbook came out, and you got to say, one of the most disgusting things about the way that this has been handled is that the legacy media sort of inserted itself. So we didn't even get a chance to really grieve Charlie Kirk before Jimmy Kimmel came in and stole the narrative. And suddenly the legacy media turned this into a free speech situation, and the orange man is coming out to take it away from you and all this stuff. And it's total nonsense. And now they're right back to talking about we're in a fascist state. Authoritarianism is here. We must fight back with everything we have. And it's like, guys, how many more of us have to be 6 feet under before you stop? I don't think they'll ever stop. What do you say, Lauren?
Well, I tend to agree. But before I get into those talking points, can I make another point of order?
Well, absolutely.
I think we've forgotten somebody in the background.
Who have we forgotten?
Someone of a ghostly persuasion.
Well, the problem with that is, according to my information I've got, we've got a device issue back there that's not allowing that guest to join quite yet.
Okay. I think it was just that it's gone to sleep. He's had that happen a couple of times before.
Well, let's see if we can wake up our ghostly friend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Ghost, LW. Welcome, sir.
I've been here all along, and I have to cut Gavin some slack. I really do. Excuse me. He said he felt this to the depth of his soul.
I know where you're going.
Well, that's not very deep, folks. So, I mean, you remember that thing, Desiderata, go placidly amid the noise and haste and all of that. And National Lampoon did a spoof of it. And they had a line that said, rest assured that a walk through the ocean of most souls would not even get your feet wet. Well, double on you, Gavin. Double on you.
I thought you were going to praise him for actually having a soul and recognizing the existence of one.
He wouldn't know one if he bumped into one in the dark of the night. But anyway.
All right, Lauren,
for awakening the dead.
That's right. Well, folks, if you don't know, behind the scenes, it was showing me that Ghost was having technical difficulties. Apparently, though, that was that the computer had gone to sleep. Lauren, get in with your thoughts on this, and let's hear what you have to say.
Well, first of all, I don't think that Gavin Newsom was birthed. I think that there is a great possibility that he was hatched from a reptilian egg in some kind of a
Lord. We're going to get reptile people complaints now.
The good news is he's the new attraction on Jurassic Park. So,
honestly,
Jurassic World. Yeah.
Look at the guy. Do you not think that he popped fully formed out of an egg covered in slime? Is that not what you picture from this guy?
Well, actually, I believe you, Lauren. Do you want to know why? He's Nancy Pelosi's nephew.
He's just a slime ball. I take Gavin a little less seriously than I take some of these other people because he's nothing but an opportunistic slime ball. He is nothing but naked ambition and vacuousness. So I mostly just ignore Gavin.
But Lauren, you got to admit, a Democratic primary debate between Gavin and AOC would be a festival of joy for most of us.
I don't know, man. I just, the guy, I'm at the point where he just turns my stomach. I don't care about him. He's got not an original thought in his head. He's just naked ambition and nothing else.
All right. Well, speaking of naked ambition, culture has something waiting on us, Lauren. Culture?
Oh.
What is this you've got ready to go? Oh, no. We got to pause it.
Yeah, you got to rewind it. Yeah.
Wait.
Bring
okay.
it on because it's a video clip, but you'll need to rewind it. You can do that actually on your side.
Okay. So we're going to play Hillary Clinton on MSNBC with Morning Joe. This is the perfect frame, by the way, to start off with. Again, this is taken after what happened to Charlie Kirk. Is that right, Culture? This is recent.
Oh, indeed. Yeah,
Okay.
this is very, very recent. Indeed.
Okay, and the reason we play this, folks, again, we're not interested in the politics of it necessarily. What we're trying to point out is that the legacy media went straight, like they didn't have a delay. There wasn't a period of mourning. They just went straight back to the kind of stuff, the words, the phrases, I think that put everybody in danger, like literally puts people in danger. It's not just Destiny. It's not just influencers. It's not just Hassan. It's the people who are supposed to be the top setting some sort of example. Well, here's what Hillary had to say.
We have got to stop demonizing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I think most of that right now in our country's history is coming, from the right.
That's it. It's all you need.
All you need. And she goes on. I actually know this one, even though we don't have the rest of the clip. Culture. She goes on to blame white Christian men.
Oh, she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was staggering. And I'm thinking, okay, so like we're having all this stuff happening. This is a weird morning, right? There's incidents across the United States, including what happened in Texas today, which has been happening too regularly. I think 3 times in the last 6 months, they've had issues with ICE situations. But this is not turning down. It's like, we're supposed to be turning down the temperature. We're supposed to be, trying to find a place of unity. How do you think that's happening? How does she, again, she goes, we need to stop demonizing each other. But on the other hand, I'm going to demonize the right side right now. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, and okay, here, it's even worse. Sorry to steal that from you, Mr. Ghost, but it's even worse than that. Because Culture, what category would Charlie Kirk fit into?
Gee, a white Christian male, huh?
Yeah, white Christian male. And who does Hillary Clinton, after he gets killed, and after we have the memorial, and after the right says, hey, it's not all right anymore to use these words and phrases that are essentially giving permission to harm, she comes out and blames who? Charlie Kirk's people, white Christian men. It's
by the way,
so awful.
For those of you who don't know, I happen to be appearing white, also Christian, and a male. I don't just identify as a male. I was born like one. So I'm just
the things you learn around this place. Things you learn.
Well,
hey, Lauren.
If I had known, we talk about Nancy Pelosi and others with insider trading. If I had been prescient enough 5 years ago, I would have bought into all the cosmetic companies. Because, man, between Hillary and Gavin, how many thousands of dollars do they spend on stuff for their face and their hair to make them look human?
I'm convinced they're already embalmed. Lauren, put a bow tie on this thing and let us know your thoughts as we get ready to wrap up. The question I have for you, Lauren, is, will this go away? Or, and by that I guess I mean, will there be pressure put on these stations to stop this? Or is it going to get worse before the midterms?
Can I just interject one small thought process discussion, perhaps?
You've never had a small thought in your life. Go ahead.
Okay, this is a little one. Ask yourself this question. Why are the politically hyperbolic and the entertainment industry so tied together? Why? Why is it that there aren't conservatives on any of these shows? If so, 1 or 2 per year.
Oh, come on, Culture. They invite Liz Cheney. They invite Liz Cheney 7 times a week.
Why? I'm not even.
I've never known Culture to ask a question without knowing the answer. So tell us, Osei.
No. I'm asked. This is a genuine question for a change. I'm not. I don't. Right now, look, forget about the fact that Hollywood has always been red. And when I say red, I don't mean Republican, kids. I mean traditionally red. And I'm about to say something that my dad would be very proud of. McCarthy did not get to go far enough. McCarthy was right. And this is from a guy who knows people and respects and loves people that either were in the entertainment industry or are currently.
Folks, this is what you'd expect from Culture. He always is very moderated. He always takes a very simple stance that would never get us in trouble here. Never, ever gets us in trouble.
I'm not going hyperbolic. I'm just saying we needed to finish that. It's the same thing. It's you don't get me started on why I'm disappointed in the Catholics.
Lauren's going to need another drink of the bottle in just a minute.
Just another total side thought. Just a total side thought. Was that Kathy Bates doing the hand signaling for Gavin Newsom in that clip?
Oh man. Oh man.
Let's see if I can find it.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's Mama Boucher right there.
Never mind. God is my co-pilot. Matlock is my sign language person.
Mama Boucher.
Look. If anybody looks like he could be from the cast of Misery, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Right
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So there you go.
All right, Lauren. We've been all over the place, all over the map. It's your turn. Wrap us up, Lauren. What say you? Will the stations and will America force this through a concerted effort to get better because it's actually dangerous to like 70% of us, or will we not be able to stop them, and will they actually get worse before the midterms?
I think it's inevitable that it gets worse, because if the media and these people who are making these comments have not stopped yet, if what has happened in the last couple of weeks has not shocked them into silence or at least self-reflection, then it's going to take at least another event for it to do so. And frankly, I don't think that it'll bother them too much if it does. The only thing that will make them stop is absolute defeat. And to answer your question, Culture, why is it that all of these entertainment people and these lefty politicians, why are they so involved in politics? Why do they hang together so much and exclude people from our side?
Wow, if they could only hang together.
It all has to do with the pursuit of power. And if you're going to achieve power honestly, that requires hard work. If all it requires is celebrity, well, that's pretty easy.
Wait. Let me fire a question back then. The most celebrity-driven campaign I've ever seen in my entire lifetime, all 54 years to date, was this one. This one that Kamala Harris lost with an estimated $2 billion between the money she spent and the party spent and dark money. Why didn't she win?
Because the dogs wouldn't eat the food.
There you go.
There you go. And we just want to clean up, folks. When Culture said the joke about, what shall we say, levitating.
I was kidding.
Totally kidding. There you go.
Who was he quoting? One of the founding fathers said that about if we don't blank together, we'll all blank
That's true.
separately.
It's a very famous quote. Elon Musk actually quoted when he was meeting with Trump in the box at Charlie Kirk's event, the memorial.
Wow. No, I did not realize that. And by the way, I got a feeling that the people who attended Charlie Kirk's memorial, they're not keen on this mean kind of speech that puts us all in danger. I don't want to see more people in caskets. I don't want to see more wives.
Benjamin Franklin said it.
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can I ask one last question? And this is kind of important. Where were all of the people who were honoring Charlie Kirk from the left side of the aisle, the leftists? Where were all of those? Where was Gavin Newsom? Was he there?
Well, that's been the problem, Culture, is that, you had the 400 celebrities come out and say, don't cancel Jimmy. Keep Jimmy. We got to have Jimmy. He's got terrible ratings. He's losing millions, but it's a free speech attack if Jimmy goes bye-bye. There was very little in the way of them saying anything about the assassination of a good man in public for political reasons. And that leads me to deeply question their integrity. Lauren, I won't stop you.
I'm trying to think of how to phrase this without being too incendiary. I did want to touch on that quote, by the way, if I can. You already talked about it. It was Benjamin Franklin. It was at the signing of the Declaration, and it was making a point that, well, we've now essentially signed our own death mark, so we'd better all stick together, because if we don't, it's not going to go well for us. No. Talking about the left and Charlie Kirk's memorial.
Yeah.
There were a lot of liberal people in the audience, and here I'm making a distinction between. You're right. I'm making a distinction between liberals and leftists. You're asking why, with all of the celebrity, did they lose the last election? And I think there's there's two reasons. One was Kabbalah herself. I think there is a certain level of complete ineptitude that's impossible to ignore. But besides that, you have a significant portion of the population that I would argue has literally been brainwashed. And they believe, even at this point, that they still occupy the greater portion of the electorate. They think that they are greater than 50%. They have not yet realized that their definition of where the center is completely wrong. They have lost track of the Overton window, and they still see themselves as being 51 at least % of the population when they are drifting ever closer down to the low 40s. And because of that, they've not been able to give up and face reality. They still are going to keep on this track until it is utterly proven to them that they are in the minority. And the only way that you can do that is to defeat them ideologically and at the ballot box. That's the only thing that will force them to learn. They must lose power. And that means we have to deprive them of it.
The other thing, and you guys tell me if I'm off base here, but I don't think they've realized yet that America doesn't envy the celebrities anymore. You know, everybody used to think, I want to go to California, or I want to be in the Hollywood Hills. I want to be on, you know, I want to live in Beverly. And that's gone away. People don't think that way anymore. That's like 20 years in the past. People don't want whatever it is that the celebrities have. They don't want that drama. People actually love. I mean, think about how about this? What are the 3 most popular states right now that are receiving tons of people fleeing to their states? Texas, Florida, Tennessee. What in the world? Who would have ever thought that 30 years ago?
And by the way, speaking as an alumni of Beverly Hills High School, it used to be rated either number 1 or number 2 in the nation. In my Beverly High Facebook group alumni from my class, the other day somebody put up that it's now number 2,200.
That's about right. That's about right.
Okay. So the point is the quality of life, the quality of education, the quality of opportunity is so degraded that anybody who is not either A, isolated by vast wealth and attention, or B, stuck by vast poverty is leaving. And so when Gavin talks about gerrymandering his state to get even more anti-Republican, pro-Democrat districts, yeah, but overall the state's going to lose 20 districts. Because the population is disappearing. So, you know.
And the latest stats I saw.
Gavin, go back to that picture. Gavin, when you know the camera's on all the time and you present yourself as a nice egalitarian, non-sexist kind of guy, you probably shouldn't be staring at the woman next to you's appendages. It's probably a bad look.
We can't call those appendages, Lou. That's not...
Assets.
Breastworks is a nice neutral term.
There you go.
No, the assets she's sitting on. But anyway,
hello. Okay.
Hey, by the way, just to add this as we get ready to go to the next story we've got, folks. Latest stat I saw, it's something like 71% of the people who leave in exile from places like California, New York, agree with the places they're going to, which is what you would expect. Are there exceptions? Places like Austin? Sure. But it seems to me that if you're worried about Californians or New Yorkers leaving and going to your state and making it less pristine, that's a worry that I understand. But it seems like, well, the opposite might be happening.
Yeah.
Blue states getting bluer, red states getting redder, and Gavin Newsom being a hater on legacy media. Pulling Hollyweird to the sensible center of the mainstream middle where money is made is not easy, but folks, you make it easy to make videos each and every day because sharing time with you is a great honor, and we never take it lightly. An attitude of gratitude every single time we have the chance to shine with you. Until the next time, we only ask that you click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And folks, don't worry about paying any kind of tuition for this free class and how entertainment works. You are on scholarship. Highest IQ on the internet, that's you for sure. Until the next time we have the opportunity to spend time together, folks, we just ask that you keep learning, keep growing, and as ever, keep having fun.
Jump into the water. Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.